Fly Eagles flies. They have Wanamaker. You know, Macy's is closing down. The Wanamaker building, I guess, will still be here. And it's windy and breezy. So I'm kind of happy that I'm staying right here in Center City, just because it's rare that I want to take a ride on the L that takes like 48 to 50 minutes, you know what I mean? So it's pretty rough out there. I've taken the L up to Port Richmond, maybe 1 or 2 stops north of that, and York, Berks or whatever, and all up in there. And it's not, you know, it's pretty ugly out there. It's a sad state of affairs. You know, I wish the city could be healthier. It's like Brooklyn. It's like the darker parts of Brooklyn, and you do and don't want to be there. You know, you don't, period. And it's scary. There's a lot of drugs. There's a lot of crime. It's sad, you know, and I'm wondering, how do you fix a city? Like, how does that work? Like, how do you actually fix a city? I don't know. And the DEA agents, you know, they just look for the next big hit, you know, next big drop or whatever. And it doesn't really fix the problem. So, anyway. Is that neat? Last night I was saying it looks like a whiteout on the tarp there. I was thinking whiteout in terms of, like, if the Eagles should win, like, tons of people flock the streets of Philadelphia. They do Broad Street, and they even kind of fill up around here because they are on and off the Market Frank Rodell. And of course, the L and the ticket machines need to be working next week for when people want to come out here and celebrate, if they want any kind of showing here in Philadelphia, any pride whatsoever. But anyway, white out, or get the white out. Which way? Get the red out. Panoramic view, Captain America over there. So I wondered if Philly Captain caught wind of it, and if he went up, you know. I don't really watch him. He does a whole different shtick, so I try to stay here on Quietville. I try to avoid shows and the putting on of orchestrated activity and stuff like that. That's how you get out of the master lock. How do you avoid orchestrated activity and people staging around you? Good question. It can take a lifetime. It's a soul journey. So good luck, everyone else. I had to be made to believe I'd be murdered at my apartment. The games commenced. My mom and aunt's phone lines were disconnected in Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm up here in Philly, so that's a right-wing state and a left-wing state affected by attempted murder of one Sharon Renee Cole. Then games commenced, and there's attempted murder of all the psychological tactics, orchestrated harassment games, staged activity, trying to force Sharon in all these directions, so forth and so on. So it is considered attempted murder when you really lay out the pain and suffering, mental anguish, death threats, constant barrage. It's death by 10,000 cuts. So good luck, Philly. It's way up there in the realm of, you know, someone making a movie in the sky. And then every time I see a tragedy like airplane crashes and stuff like that, I wonder, whose show is it? And there are people who wonder this, like, whose movie is it? Who's puppeting what? Who's doing what? I tricked everyone. So I did see like a billboard for Yumi or UMI, which is some sort of restaurant in the Reading Terminal Market. and it was front and center on all the news pieces for the airplane crash, You Me or whatever, and I thought that was interesting because I guess they advertised to people all the way up by Roosevelt and Common Avenue to come down here to Reading Terminal Market, and I wondered like if there was a connection or what was going on there in terms of Puppetville. Splitsville. This is the Drug Enforcement Agency complex. So hence the wayward Girard Avenue, or Girard, I mean, Federal Donuts and Canopy.
I came with Dawn to her place. You guys know.
District sleeps tonight. District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. So I usually say the same things over and over to remind people that this looks like the Drug Enforcement Agency plopping itself down here. They might not care about small little things going on Market Street, but they would want to trace where the source is for people's supply. So that's what they, you know, regular people down here who barely, you know, where's the source? Where's the big kingpin who drops off stuff? Or I don't know how it works. That's what someone thought. It was a theory. So this is basically the Drug Enforcement Agency. Chase, Chase. AT&T, that's the CIA as it gets. Everyone is a robot from AT&T. We know that from personal experience. I know two people who worked for AT&T for years, and they live in orchestrated communities and they live orchestrated lives. And it's been pretty easy for them, skating by. Of course, they were there way back in the beginning, you know, not telephone sales in a store, but in, you know, headquarter operations. Get a ticket if the machine will work for you, and if I don't know if the people at the turnstiles are allowed to process tickets any longer, or if you have to use the machine. But so in the past, you know, you could just walk up to the window and say, "Can I buy?" You know, in the past you could get tokens too. Can I get tokens from you because the machine's not working? These days, you know, it's pretty easy to try to control people in a certain way. They have a detour sign here for walking. It's hilarious. Detour by AT&T and Drug Enforcement Agency.